We begin today with what has become a biannual event of bringing forward rules reforms in an attempt to open up the transparency and democratic process here in the Assembly. In previous years, it's met with no success, and very much to my frustration. But this year, I think it's a little bit different. And the reason it's different is because of a process we just went through about a month or so ago in electing a new speaker. At the time that we were going through the process of trying to come to new leadership, a reform caucus had formed, calling for some very important reforms to happen to this House. And it was very public. I remember seeing newspaper and TV reports of individual members from the majority wanting to get up and say, we need to make changes in this House. And indeed, when we finally did elect a new speaker, the new speaker in his inaugural address said to this body that he wants to see new reforms as well, that he wants to see a more democratic process as well. And the intentions from both he and the other members of the Assembly were to increase transparency, which is exactly what our intention is here today. And if you remember, and if you think back to our U.S. Constitution as well as our New York State Constitution, which were both written and designed before the advent of political parties. At the time that they were being formed, there was a lot of discussion about the rights of the majority versus the rights of the minority. There was so much discussion, it was so important that Alexander Hamilton, who was the architect of our New York State Constitution, wrote extensively in the Federalist Papers justifying the need to protect the rights and interests of the minority as well as the majority. And in fact, that is largely how we ended up with a bicameral legislature and many of the processes that we have in our democracy today. The elections were not meant to create sides, but rather create a process for vetting ideas, a way that the interests of all the people throughout the country or throughout the state would be able to filter their needs and interests up in an organized manner so that we could come to logical and thorough decisions that benefit the people of the entire state. Unfortunately, with the advent of political parties, what we now have instead is a football game that goes on between two teams. And in every contest, we have a winner, we have a loser, and we have no room for compromise that would benefit both sides. Now, last year, or last term, when we went through this process, our esteemed majority leader, and I respectfully bring this up, commented that our rules reforms would prevent the majority from governing, that our system of government gives the majority the right to govern. But I say that is simply not true. The speaker in our process is meant only to manage the process, not the outcome. The outcome is supposed to be determined by the collective discussion and vote of the people of the body. Our reforms that we offer today do not interfere with that function. Under our rules reforms, the speaker is still elected by the majority. He still chooses his chairpersons. All we do here is increase transparency, shorten the time for leadership to allow the opportunity for more people to have a bigger say. We are merely looking to increase the input from rank and file members, not control. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I offer the following resolution and waive its reading and move for an immediate adoption. This First Amendment is to limit the time a member may serve as a majority leader of the Assembly or a minority leader of the Assembly. And it's important that I bring up both in the same resolution, because we are not looking to curtail power and influence on one side. We are looking to spread and evenly or more evenly distribute the ability to people to have input on both sides. And for that, I think having the term limits gives the opportunity for more people to be able to have a hand in the process. Again, it does not take away control. It simply allows more people to participate in the process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.